Okay, so we're back live. So this is Run the Julz Podcast Productions. Today, we are joined by a few guests to talk about the Boston Red Sox leading into the spring training and the 2015 overall season. So today, joining me, because I'm not enough of an authority on the Sox to kind of do this on my own, I've got three experts, close people to me, who are much better minds about baseball than I am, but I'll try and I'll host. So, first we have my sister Emily, who you all know by now if you pay any attention to a couple of the pods we've done in the past. Em, say hi.
Hello, everybody.
So Em is here. We also have, conspicuously in the other room of our apartment, is my good friend and roommate, Greg Caswell. Greg, say what up from the living room.
Hey, how are you? Big fan of your show, Pat.
Oh, thanks, pal. I appreciate the support. And then last but very not least is our fourth man in, our former third roommate, good friend from college, Corey LaValle, who's coming to us live from Central Mass. Say what up, Corey.
What's going on? Thanks for having me.
Of course. So, Red Sox are heating up. Admittedly, this is partly my favorite part or time of baseball. It starts from right now until about 4th of July. And then, admittedly, I drop off. But I'm in the throes of, I'm digging out my ball cap. I'm paying attention to the signings.
I hate you.
Yeah, I know. But at least I'm enthusiastic for the most part. So let's talk about one of the bigger splashes of the last little while is the Yoan Moncada signing. So I'll let one of you guys give opening remarks. I guess I should dish it out. So Em, I'm familiar with your stuff, so you go, I guess.
Oh, yeah, so ladies first.
Ladies first. Yeah, that's what I meant.
There you go. Yeah, that's about right. So I guess so I'd heard mumblings, and I didn't really. I don't know. I feel like we're always in on these Cubans, as we should be, because name me as a Cuban prospect who hasn't panned out in the last couple of years. But so yeah, I'm really excited about it. I think I find it hilarious that baseball is the way it is, that we can just pay 100% tax on something and it just nobody cares. It's just the way baseball works. It's fascinating. But in terms of the player itself, I'm excited about him. I think, why not? He's 19. I looked it up today. He's 19, and according to his agent, he's 6'1", 220. He's built like a fucking house. So
at 19 years old.
At 19 years old. They call him like an action figure. So, I mean, I'm sure they got real nice things in that Cuban water and whatever, and yeah, but he's here, and I think what's nice about it is there's no need to rush him. I don't need to see him for a couple of years. I just need to know we have him, and I'm glad we do. I mean, they're equating him to basically a number one overall pick. So we haven't had one of those since I read it like 67. So sure, I'll take it. I'll pay for a number one overall pick. It's probably a better investment anyway.
Cool. So. Greg, what do you got?
I think it's risky, given the amount of money that we spent just to get him. He's getting a lot, but we also paid the tax. We could, depending on what position we want, we need pitching. We could go for a trade, use some of that money in addition to, one of our prospects or whoever's on the team now, and get a great pitcher. And like you said, he's 6'1", 220, but what is he taking? He's like a steel man. Okay.
Yeah.
And
there's a reason why trade embargoes happen in Cuba for the past 40 years.
Yes. Yeah. But granted, you look at the other people that people pay to get, like Yasiel Puig. His talent is phenomenal. Robinson Cano, insane. I have high hopes for him, but like you said, not right now.
Corey, what do you got on Moncada?
So, back in, what was it, April of last year, I think it was April, because I think it was in spring training. We had the whole thing with John Lester, and we refused to pay him the money that we should have paid him. 8 months later, we were regretting it.
4 years, $70 million. Something
right.
like that.
So I'm a little irritated at the fact that we are willing to spend the money for a position that we don't necessarily need. Granted, he's a five-tool player. He could be the face of a franchise in 4 years, 5 years, if he projects the way that scouts have been putting him at, basically a Robinson Cano with, base stealing ability and like so much more bat speed, all of that. And I will get into pitching, I'm sure, at some point during this, but being a pitcher and having a little bit more faith in the defensive side of baseball. I mean, last year our problem was we couldn't score runs. So granted, we've obviously fixed those holes, but Greg's point, to piggyback that, we just shelled out a ton of money for a kid who we hope pans out, but we've had a lot of prospects who kind of just, the ass hit the fan because they just didn't work. Jackie Bradley Jr., and several hundred.
You never know.
I mean, yeah, you never know, and the way they're very confident that this kid's going to be, a mainstay for a lot of years. I'm not sure it was worth the price tag that we just put on this kid. I mean, I hope it is, but
yeah,
only time will tell, I guess. I don't know. For right now, he's gonna sit in the minors for at least half of this season, barring some kind of like freak injury to one of our main infielders. God forbid that happens, but you probably won't see him till 2016. And if that happens, you just have to hope that whatever farm system is in place here, clearly not in Pawtucket anymore.
Providence.
Yeah.
Well,
all right.
did everybody know that? I didn't realize that those minor league teams had their own owners. I had no idea. I mean, I feel
just figured it was part of the ownership too.
That's what I thought, and I mean, maybe that's dumb of us, but
when I heard about it, I was like, oh, they're gonna move. So I figured, okay, Hartford. Where else could they move?
Right.
But I didn't think they'd go to Providence, 5 minutes down the road.
Yeah.
But that's another topic for conversation. But I like Moncado. I like how he looks. He does look like an action figure, but if he projects the way they say, then he could easily move to third base when Sandoval gets too fat to carry his own weight. Again, another subject to talk about. But that's years down the road, and if we're playing to win now, is that really the move we should have made? So.
Sure. Right. Like I said, I've admitted to being a layperson, but I love Cubans. I'm all in on these Cubans, baby. Give me all of them. I don't care what they're doing. I don't care if they're actually 27, but their birth certificate is all messed up, so we think they're only 19. And if they're like juiced to the gills, I don't give a shit. Like, bring them all. If Yasiel Puig can exist for the Dodgers, I want all the Yasiel Puigs that you got. I know
Puig's
that
got baggage, though.
Yeah, he's a.
Now you want Jose Abreu. Jose Abreu doesn't have the
I'd rather have Abreu than Puig.
Right. Well, I'm talking about Puig's abilities and his just physical makeup.
Oh yeah, he's a.
And ceiling, not his "I'm an idiot" mentality. But I was stoked to hear about Moncado because I need to see guys, knocking the cover off the ball to watch the game. And luckily we got you three who will watch. Yeah, luckily we have you three who will watch the game no matter what. But I'm not that way. Like, I already admitted to the fact that I'm done by the time fireworks are going up in the sky in the fourth. Right. And it takes a lot for me to be interested. Either Pedro's on the mound or Manny's knocking the stuffing out of the ball. I need something. So I'm big into the Cuban thing because of it. I want all of those guys. Even Hanley Ramirez. I don't know if you saw a picture of Hanley Ramirez that just surfaced lately, like him with Ortiz. He looked enormous. Like, he looked big as hell too. Like,
he his one of his workout routines is to hit a bag, right?
Yes, I did hear that. Yeah.
I figured you would like that.
Mm-hmm.
The pod that doesn't exist yet.
Yeah.
Is that interest?
Right. Yeah.
But can I say something? I think that I get your point, boys. That like you think it's too high risk and whatever. But I don't think the Lester thing. I think that's apples and oranges. I think it's kind of like you're looking to. You're putting all in on these types of players. You're middle infield, like positional players. I think if anything that gets proven lately, it's that you don't seem who's the last like homegrown besides like I guess Mike Trout and Bryce Harper? Like, who are your major prospects that are coming up that are like the positional people? You hear about pitcher after pitcher after pitcher. I think pitchers are people that you can kind of breed. There's more of them, even by nature. That there's just more of them, and you can kind of they're more flexible. These position players, I think that can rake and can run the bases and do all these things are a much better investment. I know $31.5 million is a ridiculous number, but still, I think at 19, it's worth that kind of risk because I don't think you see that many of them. And obviously, like the JBJs and stuff like that, it's a much more delicate process because you can fuck them up. Like, I mean, we fucked Jackie Bradley up. Like he's really in trouble. He's got to find his swing again, or else he's out. But I think as long as they do, which is why I think it's good that they're going to stick in the minors. I know it seems ridiculous to pay a millionaire minor leaguer, but I think it's still. You're building for the core is so young. They're all 22. Swihart and Xander and Mookie and Vasquez and Henry Owens. They're 22 years old. It's insane.
We might not see some of them soon, though.
Yeah, we might not.
They might be going elsewhere.
I don't think they're going to
Red Sox want to win now. I can tell. Why would they sign Hanley, Pablo? You know, and they're trying. Just a starter, actual starter, not five starters that we have.
My thing is, I'm sore still about the non-signing of Lester. I was pretty pissed when they didn't make a good effort to sign him the first time around, and then the second time I figured they learned a lesson and they didn't. And really, so my frustration with that is when you're right. I mean, pitchers are a dime a dozen. You can find guys like Joe Kelly anywhere. You can find him on the block. You can't find a John Lester in front of the rotation kind of guy
in the playoffs
who's got playoff experience and just the connection to the city and the coaching staff that that kind of guy brings. Even if we land Hamels, yeah, he's a great lefty, but he's
I don't want Hamels. I do not want Hamels.
Out on Hamels.
I'm out on Hamels. I want Jordan Zimmerman. I don't want Hamels.
Again, that's something we'll get to, but I don't know.
Well, speaking of pitching, we'll move on to this next one. So, John Farrell, former pitching coach, now the manager of the Red Sox, just extended 2 years. I'll give you my take. So the guy in his first year wins the World Series, and the next he comes in last. Which is it? And why are we extending him because of it? Like, I don't understand the move to extend him 2+ years just because when we don't really know what he is yet, because he's either extreme to one side of the spectrum or extreme to the other. So I'm not really sure if we need to be shelling out more money for this guy. I like him. I think he does okay, but I wouldn't just be automatically signing him in ink like this right now. But I don't know.
I think he's you sign him because good managers are hard to find, and he's not. I mean, he's good enough. I think. I mean, it sounds kind of I don't know, but I think. He's certainly not worth getting rid of. He's certainly not worth starting. I mean, and it's only was a 2-year deal. Baseball managers need to stick around a little longer than that. He's got some like cachet with the pitchers and with the media, and it's a certain amount of. It's this market. It just kind of dictates that, and you need managers. If they can stick, they're going to stick for a little while. Tito won his first year, and he stuck around for the subsequent 8 or 9. So, I mean, I think.
Is he better than Tito?
No, I mean better is managers are weird. I think baseball coaches are really different than any other league. I think it's a whole different type of thought because they
have different focal points too.
Yeah.
Like Farrell's a big pitching coach.
Yeah.
Other are hitting coaches, and they bring in pitching coaches. But what I think with Farrell is that first year, yeah. I mean, some games they got lucky, right, Corey?
Yeah, a couple.
But the next year, what did we give him? You know, we only gave players away, actually. So you can't really take the second half of the season and be like, well, John Farrell, what are you doing? You know, we had a lot of young guys coming up because we got rid of some guys. And now you see, well, he has some pressure now with Pablo coming in and Hanley, and now signing this young kid they have to make the young guys better than what they did last year, you know. So I like the signing. It's only 2 years. It's not a 5-year, you know.
I think it's kind of an option for 2018 too.
Yeah, it is. It's a club option, I believe.
Right.
So I don't mind it. I like it. See what he does with this team, and then we can talk about that. We didn't have much last year. Gave away all of our pitching.
We had 19 rookies. It's just you can't expect anybody to be able to manage that kind of inexperience. It's hard. It's a long season. Those kids aren't used to it. It's a whole extra, like, it's really an extra 2 months, sort of, or at least an extra 6 weeks. It's a lot.
Corey, you got anything?
Yeah, Pat, I'm more with you on this. I'm more of a I like Farrell. Don't get me wrong. I think he is a good not bullpen. Well, yeah, bullpen. A good clubhouse presence. He has a good command and keeps everybody in line. Unlike the chicken and beer and the clubhouse stuff we went through with Valentine. But I'm more of from the school of thought where what have you done for me lately? I love that he got us the ring 2 years ago, but his reputation as the so-called pitcher whisperer, I don't think really has come to fruition as much as it's been advertised. With the exception of John Lester, Buckholz every 6 months, because then he shows up and he'll have the worst ERA in the league. But with those a couple exceptions, there's been a lot of the young pitching hasn't turned out the way we thought it would. Workman, Barnes, Renato, all these we shipped a couple young kids away.
Renato's gone.
Yeah, Renato went to Texas, I think, but
How many years has he had to work with?
right. No, I understand.
Yeah.
That's why I'm not pissed off about it. I'm a little why couldn't you just? My thing is, why couldn't they have just waited to see how this season works out when he's got all these tools and a stacked lineup, and he has 3 or 4 or 5, according to him, pitchers who could be front of the line guys that, if he's who he is, people claim for him to be, this guy who's great at molding, developing young pitchers, both for the bullpen and the front end, of the rotation, then he should be able to make this an incentive year. And so I thought it was I just thought it was a little premature that they offered it so soon before he could get a chance to show that last year was kind of just a negative flash in the pan. So I don't know. I thought it could have gone differently. They could have waited, but I do like Farrell. I think he keeps good order, and aside from juggling lineups sometimes a little too much, I like his style.
So yeah, like he said, and like you touched on, Corey, he claims that we have 5 number 1 pitchers. I don't think so. I think he has to say that because we don't have an ace.
He doesn't have to say that, by the way.
He doesn't.
He could have said we have people who could be, not 5. Put an actual number on it.
Yeah, I'm out on Wade Miley being a frontline guy. I'm really out on that. But
yeah. But Joe Kelly says he's Cy Young material. So
Joe, listen, I love Joe Kelly's
who are
style.
you to doubt him,
Machine Gun
Joe Kelly's
is my favorite on the
I
rotation.
love Joe Kelly's style. I'm wicked into it. Wicked into it. He comes out their stupid Sox weekend and be like, book it, I'm Cy Young. And why not? What do you got to lose? Who heard of Corey Kluber last year? Nobody. So
Who?
Exactly. Thank you, Patrick. Hey, Patrick, Corey Kluber won the AL Cy Young. But it's all about a given year and what they want to do and how they want to go out there and pitch. So I get your point, Corey. I think you're right that it's just a little bit it's a head scratcher in that is it necessary? I think they just extended. John Henry said today they extended Charrington too. So I think it must be a move just to solidify it. Maybe for the young kids saying, okay, this is what we're doing. This is your people. These are your bosses. Now you're going to be here. Now I think maybe it's just a kind of peace of mind. And we actually don't have a lot of major free agents going into next year. So with the exception of Napoli, I read something. It's Napoli and Porcello and one other person are going to be free agents in theory next year. So that's it. That's just it. So it's why not? I guess it's one of those things that they might as well just settle it now. I think it's just kind of was a it could have been either way, and they just decided to swing it this way.
Yeah.
I have a question.
What's up?
Would you rather have a World Series every other year, or would you rather come up short every year?
I was just talking about this today with some guys in my class. I'd take the ring every other year.
Yeah.
And the bottom of the league in between that.
Me too.
The only thing I don't understand is how can you win the World Series one year and then
Tank.
need to ship off all your guys?
Yeah.
Do they really need like too much money? Do we not have the
because the
money?
World
Really, we
Series.
have the money. We're paying this 19-year-old $31 million. I don't get it.
Because the World Series is the easiest championship to win, I think. I mean, not easiest, that's a tough word to use, but I think it's the most fluky, because this league is the most wide open. This week is the most wide open. There's so many games, so many things can happen. It's just such a long period of time.
I think the level of competition has evened out.
Plateaued.
In the last, 10 years. I don't know if you guys remember, 96, 97, Yankees. Yankees, Indians.
Yankees, Braves.
Yeah, Braves. Those teams were perennial contenders. Could barely scratch third place, second place, and that's where we'd be all the time. But now it's can you think of a team that really doesn't have a legitimate shot? Marlins, maybe? I don't know. Even
the Marlins, they got some things. Right, I mean, we're talking about the Astros and...
Right, okay, you're talking about teams with good farm systems that have yet to really develop their talent. Right. I mean, everybody really kind of has a shot, which is good because I think...
I mean, who picked the Kansas City Royals last year?
I did not.
No, right. It's just, my point being that who picked the Kansas City Royals? I remember watching the Royals in that wild card game. These kids are fun to watch. Too bad they're gonna get eliminated. But wait, they're not really. I mean, they get hot and they do it. So I think I would. To go to your question, Greg, absolutely, I pick it every other year. It'd be fun.
That's what I was saying. The year before we won it, we were last. How do we go from last to all of a sudden? I mean, you see the guys who we picked up, Johnny Gomes, Mike Napoli. Did they really win us a World Series? Was it just them two? No, I don't know. I just don't know how that happens.
Right. I mean, it just makes it. That's what makes baseball fun. It pisses me off that people don't get into it.
You never know.
That's what makes it fun.
Yeah.
And you never know who's going to hit a grand slam to tie it up in the Dave Ortiz. I don't know.
This is I mean.
I think back to the 5 pitchers thing. I think another problem is unless you pick up a frontline guy in the next, couple weeks, or you wait till summer. Either way, because you've got chips to move them now. Even if you don't decide to do Swihart to the Phillies or all these deals that they've been thinking about, you've got Buchholz starting on the hill day one. And now, if he looks anything like he did last year, his longevity is not going to carry you very far. Your bullpen's going to have to work harder. And then in the back end, I mean, if you manage to survive through the end of games, we're talking 6-5, 7-6. These are the scores you're going to be looking at come July. That's just the way it's going to be if the rotation looks the way it does. But then you've got Koji going pretty much as many innings as he did last year, and he fatigued out fast. I mean, as his age, you've got to conserve a guy like him. And so I'm just saying, the dominoes are going to...
That's why we picked up the offense. They're going to score 8 runs a game.
Well, right. That's clearly what they're banking on right now. Because, I mean, you're going to have your starters giving up 4 runs, theoretically. I mean, unless you got 5 number ones, like John says. But
just pencil in, you're down 4 runs. Is that what we're doing? I mean,
4 runs?
It just puts pressure on the rest of the pitchers. So the bullpen's going to have to step up too. That's just the way it's going to have to be, which is fine. But you need to be able to lean on them when crunch time comes in September, October. So if you can make it to that point, I think we'll be fine. But I would like to see them add somebody at least, come trade deadline in July or something, because I'm a little uneasy with the way it's currently situated.
I'm sure there will be another pitcher who will be having trouble with their team, or their team is having trouble, and they just need to get rid of it for, younger players or whatever, somewhere down the line this year.
Yeah, I think all they need to do is tread water. Honestly, I mean, the AL East is nothing like it used to be. I mean, think about it. The Yankees aren't going. The Yankees over under is like 82, and I don't even think they get to 82. And so that right there is shocking. Tampa is going to be going through all kinds of influx because they don't have Joe Madden anymore. I think they'll go back to being the Devil Rays.
Yeah.
Toronto is Toronto. I mean, at what point am I supposed to take them seriously? Every year you try to tell me that Toronto's going to turn their corner, and they never do.
I do
So
think Toronto's our biggest threat.
True, I know, but every year they're supposed to do that. And then Buck Showalter, I'll give him that. His guys go to bat for him every day.
Yeah.
So the Orioles will be a tough out.
Always have a fire sale?
Yes, pretty much. Well, a lot of them were expiring contracts. Cruz gone, Marquez gone. They still have good pitching. I think they still have Tillman front line, right?
Yeah, and they still have Adam Jones and Wieters and
Right.
they have some people.
They can still bang, but they're not what they were last year.
No, so I mean, we're talking about as long as they tread water, they'll be fine. And like Greg said, somebody will need to sell somebody off at the trade line, and we can. That's where your prospects come in. I think that's where your Cicchinis and your who else? I don't know. Anybody.
Mookie
Somebody's going to. I like Mookie. I'd like to keep him if I can keep him.
We have too many center fielders, though.
Yeah, well, he wasn't a center fielder by nature. Like, I mean, am I over Dustin Pedroia? I'm not. I don't want to say I'm over him, but
Pedroia's under contract till 2021.
I love it. Love it.
God.
We need a strong second baseman.
But is he a strong second baseman?
Maybe not hitting, but fielding he is.
Yeah,
insane.
I know, that's true.
But you wouldn't have made that concession last year for Jackie Bradley Jr. playing center field.
Because we didn't have anything else. Now we have some hidden.
Yeah.
To your point about Clay Buchholz being the starter, Corey.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just a gut feeling. I don't think he's going to start opening day.
Me neither.
I don't think he's that type of pitcher. I see Justin Masterson taking that because he has had good stuff over the past, few years. He just needs the offense.
Except last year, yeah.
Well, with the Red Sox, towards the end of his stay here, he was doing well, and that's why we were able to get rid of him. And then
he did well in Cleveland for a while too.
Yeah.
Right.
His last year on a contract year, he took a gamble rather than taking the contract they offered him. He said, you know what, I'm going to try and jack up my value, and then he just tanked. He was maybe a notch above what Clay Buchholz was.
Maybe he did that on purpose. Who wants to play in fucking Cleveland?
True.
But then he went to St. Louis and shit the bed too. So I mean, I think.
He did Olivia Blunt.
Yeah, basically.
Side note: while we're in Cleveland, how awesome are the new logos? Anybody check those out?
Oh my God.
They're awesome.
Dog pound.
They made the orange more orange.
But they are the Browns. Fucking Cleveland, man. I hope they never win. Sorry, anybody out there who eventually listens to us that lives from Cleveland.
Got all of
Emily, who do you have? Emily, who do you have starting?
I have Joe Kelly starting.
Because he's beautiful. Is that why?
I like his style. I think he. No, I think his stuff is there. I mean, obviously, no one's even mentioned the name Rick Porcello yet. But
he's 4 on my list.
He's 4 on your list?
Yeah. I like Miley. We need a lefty in there.
That's true.
Somewhere.
I know. What's your rotation?
Yeah, go with that.
I have Justin Masterson starting opening day. It was a toss-up between Miley and Clay for 2, but I have Clay Buchholz 2, Miley, Porcello, and Kelly. I mean, if all these guys are, even, I mean, it doesn't really matter that much, but I think having a lefty in the middle of the order is helpful. And Joe Kelly, I mean, he's not the worst in the league, but he is the number 5. I don't know. That's what I think.
Yeah. I think I would have. I haven't actually even thought about it until right now, so I'm just gonna pull it off the top of my head. But I think I would go Kelly. Kelly, Porcello, Buck, Masterson, Miley. Miley just purely because I know nothing about him. I still haven't even done enough research on him yet. I just think he's a 5.
I had him in fantasy baseball for like 3 weeks and he sucked.
Yeah, so I actually, fun fact, when we got Wade Miley, I literally tweeted, it was like, can someone tell me who the heck Wade Miley is? And some like weird Twitter sphere kid was like, he's a pitcher for the Red Sox now, there, sweetheart. And I literally want to be like, bro, who are you? And why are you creeping on Twitter and tweeting me back? And listen, don't call me sweetheart. I know plenty. But anyways, I got really irritated. But
I'm sure you just love that, yeah.
No, fucking Twitter. But yeah, no, Wade Miley doesn't do it for me. But I think the point is that, but I like the idea that who cares who's won? Who cares about the positioning? I mean, obviously the rotation order gets shuffled at the first rain out anyway. So does it really matter?
Well, it does until it doesn't until the playoffs.
It does in the postseason, right? But at that point, like, somebody will emerge as being better than somebody else, and then at that point, I'll talk about it. But
yeah,
I think
the numbers will show, yes. Yeah.
Right. So I mean, who is it? Madison Bumgarner wasn't Madison Bumgarner until he got there. Like now, Madison Bumgarner is prolifically known as one of the greatest postseason pitchers ever, but you don't know until you get there. So he was good, but he wasn't like anything that like was out of this world in the regular season.
So, speaking of Bumgarner and the Giants of last year, I want to just, because we could do pitching for a long time, but I want to talk about one of our newest additions, formerly of the San Francisco Giants, Fat Panda in the building.
Patrick, tell us what you think about Panda. I think we should always start with you as the common person, and then we'll give the intelligent opinions.
Okay, that's fine. I'll do that. Okay, so first of all, the picture of Panda, hilarious, just hysterical. I saw that and I was like, I guess we're doing baseball again. Like, I like baseball. I wish I liked it more.
Oh, so that's why you liked it. Because it's a feather in your baseball players aren't really athletes cap.
Oh, go screw, Patrick.
Listen, there's a lot of words that are being put in my mouth right now. I haven't even finished the thought yet.
The look of glee on your face betrayed the thought that was ready to come out of your mouth.
No, I'm a Panda guy. I like Panda. I'm glad we have him. He's a monster when it counts, and that's very important to me, especially. I hate guys who are not clutch. I don't care. You can strike out all season long. If you get to October and you start hitting like 300, that's fine. But I saw the Panda thing, and I liked it more for the fact that, like, okay, here we go. Here comes the circus. Here comes the media circus that's gonna swirl around this. I mean, he's fat. We know he's fat. So why is everybody surprised that he's fat? It's silly. And I like the way that they handled it too. Like, there was a picture maybe 5 days later of, I think it was Joe Kelly and Hanley and Pablo all standing together, like with their guts out at an angle. Yeah.
Doing the Panda. Now It's a thing. Now all the media members are doing it all over the place.
Right. So that's the way to do that. That's the way to kind of combat that little bit of bad PR. But I like Pablo. I don't care that he's as big as a house. And is he's still gonna rake, hopefully, from the batter's box no matter what once we get into the dog days of summer and into the fall, hopefully. But I'm not overly concerned with his body weight. I don't know if you guys are, but I'm certainly not surprised. We signed a fat guy, so why we shouldn't be like up in arms when he shows up fat? It's just what he does. But I don't know. That's my take on Pablo. I'm in. I'm buying stock on Pablo for the next 2 years. Maybe not after that, but.
Because secretly, your childhood aspiration was to have somebody named Pablo on your team after Pablo Sanchez. Let's be serious.
1,000%. I mean, playing backyard baseball for that long, I was like, how come we don't have anybody in the Red Sox named Pablo? Seems silly.
4-3 kid playing base.
The sweet backwards cap, right, Pat? He's too busy chugging his gallon of water. Excuse us. We're just trying to pot over here.
Sorry, I gave a really scorching hot take on Pablo. I had to sit back and sit.
Oh my God!
You guys are biting your tongue, Greg. Thank you, please.
I do like the signing. I don't care that he's fat right now. like, I mean, if you look at other sports, basketball, yeah, I don't know how you get fat in basketball. All you do is run up and down the court. Like,
Eddie Curry.
baseball, you just stand at third base and you stop a ball and you throw it. You run to the dugout. I mean, you might sprint to second base if it's a perfectly hit ball for Panda, I guess. But I don't. Baseball, you can be skinny, you can be fat, you can be muscular, you could be a weakling and still hit the ball. It's just bad speed and hand-eye coordination. I mean, he does have extra weight to put behind the ball, but
Yeah.
I mean, that only helps for now. Maybe not his health and his back and whatever else, but I do like it, and he has extra padding for the infield. So.
And to get drilled by
For the
balls.
infield. No, I do. I like the signing. He's clutch. He brings entertainment to the clubhouse. He's not a dick, I don't think. From what I see, he's not a douchebag coming into the clubhouse.
These guys taking pictures with him, making fun of the fact that he's fat.
Right. He doesn't give
a pretty good sense of humor right there.
Yeah. It's the right way to start the spring
Right.
season.
And he actually, I heard that he, like somebody tweeted, a reporter, media member tweeted about it, tweeted the picture, and then his response was something to the effect of, "Hey, bro, why don't you come work out with me and I'll show you, I'll beat you in a race," or something like that. So he took it and responded positively to it, especially in the media hell that is Boston. And I'm not worried about it. I mean, he's 28, 27?
Yeah,
Something like that.
28.
And like Greg said, he's playing third base. Not a lot of lateral movement required. I mean, maybe it's a concern 4 or 5 years down the road, especially given the fact that Bogarts' glove isn't really, Gold Glove material. But again,
well, 4 or 5 years down the road, he'll be taking Poppy's spot.
Well, right, exactly. So they'll shift him to first when Napoli's gone. Now you've got a spot for Yohan Moncada or
Yeah, and then we'll have the action figure at shortstop.
Yeah, dude.
But CC Sabathia, Prince Fielder, Matt Adams, David Ortiz, dare I say it, all these guys are plus-size guys who've had major, major success. CC Sabathia, by the way, coming into camp, coming in like just high 300 pounds, they say, which is pretty insane. But
Coming in hot.
I mean, he's 6'7", so he's got a big frame to fill out anyway. But
he was skinny last year too. That was the thing. I think maybe he was like, fuck it, I went skinny and I was bad, so never mind, I'm gonna go back to being
that's
fat.
what he said. He thinks that his lack of weight was actually a problem. So
Which I've heard that for Pablo. I've heard that is a thing for Pablo as well. Like when he's kind of thinned out and more in shape, he doesn't hit as well. So
yeah.
fine.
I don't know.
Leave the poor boy alone and let him do what he wants. God, I mean, I don't really care either, and I think,
Well, he better produce.
Right. I mean, right. Exactly. I mean, if you're fucking swinging and missing, then I have a problem. But you can't see over your belly, then we'll talk about it. But
All right. Quick question: who strikes out more this season, Sandoval or Napoli?
Napoli.
Emily doesn't even hesitate.
I had Napoli on my fantasy team. It's Napoli.
Well, he either swings and misses or hits a ball 500 feet.
Yep.
So.
But hey, he got a sleep apnea surgery, so you never know. Let's see what he. That is fascinating, Patrick. I'm sure you haven't read up on it.
For sure not.
Napoli had really bad sleep apnea. He had to get a reconstructive surgery on his jaw. He was waking up somewhere between 40 and 100 times a night.
What?
Yeah.
What kind of seventh circle of hell is that?
He hasn't slept in years. And they fixed it, and he says he sleeps like 6 or 7 hours straight now. It's like life-changing for the guy. Poor thing. I couldn't imagine. I would actually off myself before I'd wake up 40 or 100 times in a night.
I'm so happy now.
I'll tell you something too. I don't know if it's pretty well. I see pictures of him at Shrine at Foxwoods. Like I've seen him at least 3 separate times. So maybe he's just like, I'm not sleeping, so I'm just gonna go party.
Yeah,
at the club
I think that's something to do with it.
Apparently he's big into Shrine. I've seen pictures
ask your friend Julie. She hung out with him once. She told me that story. She tell you that story?
Wait, how dare you? Are you?
He's
Julie?
also pretty active on.
Your friend Julie, Patrick and Corey, and Greg, I guess, sort of, but hung out with Napoli once. She told me a story. How'd she not tell you guys the story? Well, ask her. But anyways,
I was just with her last night.
but yeah, so Napoli. I mean, but Panda, yeah, whatever. Let him be. What I love that him and Hanley are bringing to the clubhouse is just they're having a ball. Everyone,
they're stoked to be there.
everyone I'm reading is saying this is the best chemistry they've seen in a while. And I mean, obviously, 13 team had great chemistry. I mean, wait, I'm sorry, we're at spring training and Poppy isn't bitching about a contract. It's like bananas. So clearly something's going right, and he's having a ball, and everyone's there. And I mean, though everyone's probably there because anyone who's in Boston, I'd be like, get the fuck out with the snow. But I mean, they're all there and they're ready to roll and they're having a blast. And I mean, that's what they should be doing this early on. I feel like they were tight last year, and I don't think, I mean, tight as in like stress, not tight as in close. And I think they're having a blast. And I think Panda and Hanley and Joe Kelly and all these kids, and Poppy now is there, and Pedroia's threatening to fight Dan Shaughnessy. They're all having a good time.
Dan Shaughnessy has it coming. So, all right. So, anybody else got any last closing remarks on Panda before we move to the batting order?
No.
No.
Okay.
Can't wait to see him hit the ball in October.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I don't know if it came off in my initial opening statements negative, but I like Panda. I'm into it, and I like that he's very upbeat and happy to be, down with the team on the Sox, and Hanley's all about it too, like Emily mentioned. So I'm glad that they're on the team. So, all right. So let's talk about possible projected batting order. So I don't know enough, so I'm just going to go to the highlight. I'm just going to go to the meat of it. I would like to see it be at the 3-hole. So I would say 2 would be Pedroia, 3-hole Ortiz, maybe 4 as Hanley, 5 as Pablo, and then Knapp.
God, you're stupid.
Why do you think that's dumb?
You're stupid. You don't put Poppy at 3.
Why not?
You don't. It's not where you put Poppy.
That's actually where I have him.
Oh my God, no! You put Poppy at 4.
No,
I would put Poppy 3 also.
I got Poppy at
God,
three.
what are you boys
dare
doing?
you, Emily?
Patrick, you guys conspired against me before we got on here. Who are we
Wait,
kidding?
so, okay, hold on, Pat. Did you finish yours?
No, because he
No, I
can't finish
didn't-
past 6. He can't tell you anybody past 6.
No. I said Knapp, and then maybe
Wait, Knapp is 4.
no. Knapp is 6. No,
6.
I don't have a lead off. I started with Pedroia at 2.
All right, that's gonna be a revolving door anyway. So
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll give Mulligan
Doesn't really
another one.
matter.
So I'm done. You guys can give your
2
full.
through 6 is his batting order.
Okay, Emily, you picked it up next. Go ahead.
That's what I'm gonna watch. Is when 2 through 6. Then I'm gonna go get a beer. So keep going.
Oh my God. Yeah, 1's gonna be a revolving door. I guess for the sake of argument, I'll put Mookie at 1. So Mookie, I have Mookie in center field. Or no, I'm sorry, not center field. Right field, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mookie at. Oh, but do I want to do that? I don't even know. Well, let's do it. I'm gonna put Mookie at right field at 1. Petey at 2. I want to put Panda at 3. Poppy at 4. Hanley at 5. I'm not thinking left, right, and I probably should be, but I'm not.
Okay, well that's kind of what I was.
Right, I'm not thinking left, right. I'm thinking like skill and what kind of batter you are. I have, so where am I at? 5. Yeah, I guess I'll put Napoli at 6. Where am I now? Xander at 7. Oh, I'm missing. No, I'm not. Yeah, Xander at 7.
You got 2 left.
And I got okay, so I guess maybe Vasquez at 8 and Castillo at 9. I mean, I don't know. Castillo's my person that I don't know what to do with because, admittedly, I read about him a while ago and I kind of forget what he does now. I know he's fast, and I think he's got pop, right? So, I don't know. I guess I would toy around with the Mookie Castillo situation. I think maybe Castillo would also be fine at being my 1 and Mookie being at my 9. I think that's where I am a little bit kind of could go either way.
Greg?
So number 1, I have 3 people written down because I think it'll be a revolving door. Whoever's playing center field, I think, will be batting first. Mookie, Jackie Bradley, or Castillo. Number 2, Pedroia. And now for 3 and 5, 3 is Ortiz, and for 4 and 5, it's a toss-up between Hanley and Panda. So 4, let's just say Hanley. 5, Panda. 6, Napoli. 7, Victorino. He will be in right
Really?
for the start,
Okay.
I think. Xander at 8 and Vasquez 9.
Victorino, I want to say shove it because him, like, I don't have to prove anything bullshit. I'm over you, dude. Like, you do, actually. You hurt all the freaking time. Like, I love you for hitting that grand slam, but I need you to play better. I need you to stay healthy.
Yeah, I've got. I personally think, based on what I've heard and read, Victorino is not going to give up his starting position without a fight, and I think that's. I don't know. I just have this feeling that at least to the start of the season, Victorino is going to win that right field spot. He's probably Betts is going to get time playing center too, giving Castillo some breaks and whatnot because they want Betts in the lineup as much as they can. So I've got Victorino in right / Betts in right, Pedroia at second, Ortiz. I'm keeping Napoli in the 4 spot. Sandoval, Ramirez, Bogarts / Craig. If he's playing, he'll take that 7 spot, but I anticipate they'll trade him at some point. Castillo 8 and Vasquez 9. Vasquez, his bat's terrible. He's a liability, really. I know he's fast, so maybe it would be good to switch Castillo and Vasquez just because you want speed leaning into the top part of your lineup. But yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of outfield pieces that could be moved around. Also, I don't know if we mentioned this, but Moncada has also had some time playing outfield, which could play an interesting dynamic down the road if some of our outfield pieces get shipped and then some of our current guys get hurt. And he performs well. There's a lot of things that have to happen for that to come to fruition, but it's within the realm of possibility because he's played there. He's just not comfortable at short. So Bogart can rest assured.
Love Bogey.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, all right. So I guess we laid it out there. So, the last thing would just be kind of overall feelings for the season and predictions. So, Em, I'm looking at you, so you can go.
I think it'll certainly be much more entertaining. I'm gonna watch again. I mean, not to stop watching, but I think I'm gonna be excited to watch. Last year I was kind of like, oh, I don't know what's gonna happen here, but it should be fun. Certainly, I think. The Pablo and Hanley experiments got to work. They got to stay healthy. Hanley more than anybody else. But I think there's no reason this team doesn't make the playoffs. If this team doesn't make the playoffs, it'll be a big time failure. They should, and obviously I think the offense should be able to carry them quite a long way. So everyone seems to be back. They seem to be healthy. You don't have any kind of someone's coming off of this surgery recently, things like that. I mean, Pedroia had his things and whatever, but I mean everyone should be healthy. So I think it'll be a big time failure if they don't make it to the playoffs. Once they get there, we'll see. But I think they should probably win the AL East. At worst, be the first wild card. But you don't want to be the wild card because of the play-in game. So you want to win that AL East.
All right.
You want me to go?
Yeah.
At first, when we got Pablo and Hanley, I was happy, and then it gave me flashbacks to Crawford.
Oh God! Don't say it.
Yeah, and Gonzalez. So, and that just ended in shambles. Crawford sucked. He didn't do anything. But I will stay on the lighter side, and I think they win the World Series.
Be much lighter than that. I'm of the opinion, yeah, I agree. If they don't make a playoffs, there's going to have to be some people held accountable for, like you said, all these trades. Not trades, but signings that have happened. All the money we've spent will look pretty stupid if we don't at least come out with a divisional series win God forbid we don't take AL East. I think that's, I mean, the way things are currently situated, we really don't have an excuse not to. I am skeptical about the pitching. It really is what's going to get you. I mean, look at San Francisco, us 2 years ago. Pitching is what gets you deep into the playoffs. I love our lineup. I think it's great. But I'm also just like skeptical if we can nail somebody down either now or 6 months from now that can help the rotation. I think that will pay dividends come October.
That's what I'm hoping for.
Right now, I am very positive. It's not going to be like last year, and it's definitely not going to be as much animosity as there was 2 years ago. Like you said, I don't see that nightmare happening again. But I'm looking forward to it. I'm really excited. And this is, for me, the doldrums of sports, the sports world. And I know Patrick takes exception to that because this is his bread and butter. But the period.
High season, baby.
Oh, we're so bored. It's so boring right now.
Between Super Bowl Sunday and like the NFL draft is probably the most miserable 2.5 months in the year. So I've been reading every article and just getting excited watching little things in spring training. So I can't wait. I'm very positive. I think it's going to be a great season. Go Sox.
Cool.
Patrick, fun fact, Patrick. Speaking of the Adrian Gonzalez, Carly Crawford debacle, do you know what player we would have had if not for that trade that's currently raking?
Yeah, Rizzo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That sucks.
Yeah. And now he's with the Cubs, right? And
I actually think your boy John Lester Corey has a fucking savior complex, and that's why he's in Chicago. I think he would have come back here if he just wants to be the savior, and I'm over it. He pissed me off when he went to Chicago. I think because he wants to be a savior.
I don't know. I think we fucked that up. That's on us. And when I say us,
well, you either want to be
Harrington,
didn't do it behind the scenes.
Henry.
I don't know.
Oh yeah, of course you don't know what things are said behind closed doors, but I just can't see why you wouldn't want to keep a homegrown. There's your homegrown guy right there. You want to talk about coming up through the ranks, battling through adversity. That's a guy that Farrell pretty much raised how to be a Cy Young caliber guy, and then we just won't pay him what he's really worth. Still kind of bitter over it. If it comes down to Chicago being in the playoffs, and for whatever reason we're not, God forbid.
Oh, I'd love to beat them in the World Series, though, man. I'd love to beat them in the World Series and make them lose some more.
No, I don't know. I really feel for Chicago.
I don't. I don't know why. I don't know why it's evil and maniacal of me, but nope. I want them to keep losing.
Yeah.
It's terrible of me. I should feel their pain. I don't. I want them to keep losing. I think it's funny.
a genetic thing. I
It's a
do it
very
too.
Yankees sentiment.
Yeah, I know it's not. It's just I don't know. They're just annoying the shit out of me.
The poor get poorer.
They're not the poor. They're in Chicago.
They're not the poor though.
They're
Well, not
not. They're in
anymore.
one of the top four sports markets in the country. Like they're fucking Chicago. They should be good, and they're not.
Yeah, I don't know. I think the Sox have a good chance to roll through the AL.
Yeah.
With pretty good success. I mean, Texas will come back from their injuries. Chicago is retooled.
Who do we think the playoff picture is going to be for the AL?
Like I said, Texas, Chicago, probably Seattle. I really like Seattle. They fight hard.
Wait, well, AL. You think the White Sox are going to be good, or you think the Cubbies are going to be good? I think the White Sox.
I think they're both going to be good. I think both Chicago teams are legit. So, I don't think Chicago's just ready to contend with St. Louis yet. The East, Washington, the West, probably LA. It's got to be LA.
Yeah. LA usually wins the crown, and then the San Francisco says screw you and beats them every time. But
so a lot of moving pieces, but that's probably where it shapes up looking like.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'll give you my bold prediction, which won't happen.
Oh, Ray, you have a prediction to give too. I forgot.
Yeah. I got an real educated one too. I think what happens is Seattle has a lot of expectations for good reason. Then they implode somehow, and we trade for King Felix, and then it's World Series or bust.
That is a scolding hot take right there.
I don't see how we wouldn't be World Series favorites.
Yeah, me neither.
Right.
They
So,
won't ever do that. But that's a scolding hot take, Pat. Good for you.
just white hot, just that's what I'm here for.
Yeah, that's a white hot take.
So maybe it won't be Felix, but I was going to the show hoping that they would make a front end guy splash come the deadline, and I would expect them. My guess for where they're going to end is the first wild card. I think they're going to be the first wild card. I think they're going to have some really great stretches where they put it all together, and then they're going to have some real breakdowns with pitching that's going to just kind of plague them for a month. And
So who are you saying Toronto's going to be?
The AL East winner?
no, I still think the Orioles are going to.
Really?
Yeah, because Showalter he knows what he's doing. Like Em said earlier, like those guys get up for him.
He's a crafty little bitch.
Yeah,
He is.
I don't like that guy,
I
but
don't like him either.
yeah, he knows what he's
I
doing.
don't like Joe Madden either, but I respect him.
Right.
Joe.
I like Showalter less than Madden.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Showalter's a whiny bitch.
Yeah, so I think they're still gonna find a way to eke it out, and we're gonna be just behind them at the first wild card. But I expect them to have success once they get to the playoffs. I just don't know if they'll finish with the AL East crown, but they easily could. So, these
I
are
hope the Tigers start sucking, and then we trade for David Price.
I'd be down for that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about the National League? Who do you think is going to take the National League?
I think
Take
the whole thing, like to the World Series.
Yeah, just the whole thing. We don't want to be here forever. But
I'm saying LA. Their pitching's great.
No, Kershaw poops his pants. I'm over Kershaw.
No, I think eventually he gets over that Peyton Manning like playoff hump.
It is Peyton Manning like.
That's what it is. He's the Peyton Manning of baseball.
He really is. You're right. That's a very good analogy. I think I like the Nationals. I like what they do. I think they're stupid for that Scherzer contract. I think they're desperate for that Scherzer contract. I'm going to pick the Nationals just because I'm sick of watching the same people win over there every year. It's kind of annoying the shit out of me. It's St. Louis and
I can't stand St. Louis.
Yeah, St. Louis is the worst. So it's St. Louis and LA and San Francisco every year. So I'm over you guys. Like, give me the Nationals or give me the Cubs, and then I'll beat the Cubs in the World Series. That'll be just glorious for me.
Or the Pirates. I'd love to see the Pirates do well.
Yeah, they're fun to watch.
Corey, you gotta wait.
Oh, sorry.
he got a hot take with the Pittsburgh.
My bad.
I had the Pirates.
Why the Pirates? Why the Pirates?
The Pirates. My bad.
That's okay.
Explain it to me, right? Because I literally don't understand. They can't make it that far.
I like their talent. I actually just like McCutcheon.
No, he's good stuff.
I think pitching, you just never know year to year. So, I mean, I don't know. I just like their hitting, their talent, what they have in their lineup. Let's see.
They're a gritty team.
Yeah.
They're like a grinded out. They never win by like 8 runs. They're
And
always.
the fans are insane.
Yeah, I
I
like.
hear that. And I hear that ballpark is beautiful. I'd love to go.
Yeah.
It's on my list to get the ballpark.
Patrick, I have one last question for you.
Fire away.
As you say that you're the least learned of us of baseball, and you admit to not liking it nearly as much as basketball. Certainly not basketball, but even past football and probably even hockey. So of the big four, it's your least favorite. But with the recent changes that MLB has made, particularly with their attempts to speed up the game, like the little improvements that they've made, I'm not sure if you're familiar with each of them,
He's not.
all with the purpose of bringing back the younger crowd who are obsessed with the football-like and basketball-like mentality where the clock just ticks.
Yeah.
What do you think that that's going to bring people
Yeah.
back to the sport, new people to the sport? Does that make your interest? Does that boost you a little bit on the sport, or what?
I'm glad you asked. So here's how you fix this for me. For me personally, maybe for those who are chomping at the bit, because I really want to be back in. Like I was in like when it was 2000, 2000 to like 2004, like when Pedro was appointment viewing, like I did really like it. And there's two problems I have with the game right now. One, it's too slow, and you have to fix that. It's the speed of the game is just out of control. There needs to be a shot clock type of thing where, for one, stop. These batters, stop getting out of the box every 5 seconds.
Okay, Corey, can you tell him the rules so he doesn't say things that the rules are trying to fix?
Right, no, but listen, I know some of the rules. I know, like, they
Okay.
just came out with one where, like, the manager can't come out of the dugout.
No,
Right.
Patrick, they put in a rule that says you can't take yourself out of the box, I think, unless
You have to
you've
keep one
swung
foot in the box.
at all times now.
Yeah, unless it's a ump's timeout or an injury or something like extenuating.
Yeah. Or I think it's something to do with a swing. I think if you make contact or something like that.
Or
But if you
foul
like swing,
ball.
if you swing and miss, like you can't like step out and step back in. You have to stay in.
But it's a double-edged sword, of course, because the pitcher is going to do that shit too. Like, he's going to, like, stop,
But they have a rule now too. It's something to do with in terms of the TV timeout. They have to be ready to go like 20 seconds after the TV timeout or something like that. Like, I forget what it is now. But so those things are existing now. They're putting a sort of a clock on the pitchers to start after the commercial breaks.
Yeah. Okay. So speed the game up. They're doing little things to help that out. That's fine. But it needs to be, drastically coming along with those efforts need to hurry up and be put into place and have that be the new spirit of the game. So that's one, right? My other problem is the game's not nasty enough. It's not mean enough.
I agree.
I'm not into.
Were you listening to Felder and Maz the other day?
Which day?
I think it was yesterday. They talked about that.
Yesterday I missed. Did they talk?
Yeah, that's exactly what Felger was saying. He said
I love Felger.
The game's not nasty enough.
Yeah.
Like, next time there's a fight breaking out, let them go. Like, let people should punch each other. And, like,
yeah.
I mean, that's extreme, but they do not need, I think you're right, they need to infuse energy into it somehow. I mean, back when Pedro was pitching, like you said, and Clemens, like, those are, like, the heydays of, a guy gets plunked, benches on both sides going to clear, and somebody's getting hit with a glove or a fist or a cleat.
So, out of all four sports, nothing riles me up in terms of fighting more than baseball fighting. Like,
Steroids.
I'm not. Yeah.
Let him get back on steroids.
Yeah. I'm not. There's some people are of that opinion. Just let them go with the PEDs. Who cares? But I'm not into that as much. But I'm definitely into. You need some bite back in the game because I remember watching all those old days with the people you mentioned, Corey, and I do. I was just thinking about it while we were talking about it. I get most jacked up when I'm watching, ESPN the next day, and I see that the benches were cleared, just on a random hot July night with baseball more than I would with like watching a hockey fight break out or watching a football fight break out or something in the NBA, which would be ridiculous. But those are my favorite. So if you're upset with like some of the things people do, or you get beaned, so you bean the other guy or whatever, just like let that go on for a little bit. And if something happens and people fight, they fight. There's so many games. Who cares if you get kicked for like 2 coming up? Like, who cares? You can afford to put some teeth back in the game, and I do also love the showboating. Like when you jack one out of the park, and you want to let that guy know, like, I just took you deep. I'm into that. Like, I remember my favorite thing of last year was when, like, I think it was Giancarlo or something with the Marlins, and he just, like, was doing work or something, or maybe he wasn't doing work, and he finally got the better of this pitcher and like let him know. And I think it was.
I don't think that's Giancarlo. I think that was probably Bryce Harper. You're thinking of Bryce Harper. Probably.
No, it was somebody on the Marlins. I thought.
Well, Poppy did it. Poppy did it to David Price.
No, this was a Marlins incident. I do remember the Marlins being involved.
If somebody was hitting a home run on the Marlins, it was probably Giancarlo.
Yeah, I mean, now it must be Giancarlo, but I don't think he's
Nobody
that kind of
else hits
guy.
the ball on that team.
I'll look it up after the pod, but yeah. So if you don't like that, also feeds into make it nasty too. Like if you're not stoked about some guy just like flipping the bat, I love the bat flips too. Though that's my jam. So if you're pissed off about that, just deck the guy. and throw at them. Who cares? Like, you need a little bit of, I don't know.
I think half your problem. I think that what we're missing in the league is I think the rivalries are kind of down. I mean, obviously for us, our rivalry is certainly down. I mean, you're never going to get two California teams to get fired up at each other. It's just fucking California.
What about like the Brewers and the Cardinals?
The Brewers and Cardinals aren't it. The Cubs and the Cardinals are it.
No,
so that would be.
Who was a rival with them?
I mean, I guess Colorado, maybe. I don't know.
No, there was something more recently with the Brewers.
But certainly the Cubs
and the Reds.
Oh, there you go. That's it.
Reds, yeah.
But I mean, if the Cubs are good, that's good for the Cubs and Cardinals. And I mean, I don't know. You got the Nats and the Nats and the Marlins are both kind of whatever. But I mean, you need your or like Texas or Oakland and LA. But again, those are whatever. But I mean, I think you need your rivalries up. I think. Like in hockey, hockey's good when the original 6 teams are good, and they're bad when they're bad. So I think, football's good for Peyton versus Toms, and I don't know, like shit like that. So I think baseball is missing its rivalries right now, and I think that'll bring some nastiness back if they can find them again.
Yeah, if we could find a way to find some hate in our heart for the Yankees again, that will bring me all the way back. I will definitely watch.
We both need to be good enough for that to happen.
That's the biggest problem, yeah. So.
Well, if the Steinbrenners sell, it may be fun.
Our rivals are arguably Baltimore.
Yeah.
Or maybe even Tampa. But now Madden's gone. Like, Tampa's not really the threat that they were, so that kind of fades away. But now it's kind of like Baltimore, because we just don't like Baltimore. I don't know what it is about them, but I think they need to do something with the media portrayal of it too. It's just so laid back. I mean, like, how many times, like, I don't know. I think all of last year. All right, maybe last year's not like because they weren't good, but the year before when they were like legit, I must have watched full games on TV, front to start, maybe 3. But like, does anybody have time to watch a whole game?
I'll tell you what, I definitely don't have time to watch Don Orsillo and Jerry Remy talk about what they had dinner at the hotel the night before. Okay.
I almost watched 162 full games.
That's impressive. I don't know.
I just find time for the games. I don't know.
I have it on. I usually never. Am I devoting my full attention to it? Maybe, maybe not. But it's certainly on every night. I have it on my television.
Oh yeah, but I'm saying like most people, like even us, like I would say we're hardcore fans, and we use it primarily as background noise if we're not like glued to it. I mean, and I know, Pat, how many full games you ever watched in your entire life?
It's over under about 6.
When you're not at the stadium.
Well, my earlier life was different, but in the past 5 years, 10.
Well, since you become your own fan, yeah.
So I think they need to spice that up somehow. I'm talking like more camera angles, more behind the plate kind of stuff. I don't know.
I meant it as like, you're acting independently. We just watch it with Dad. But no, I totally agree, Corey. I sat down and I I live streamed the Bruins Blackhawks game the other day because for some reason Alex's cable wasn't working in his room, so I live streamed it, and I sat and watched the whole thing. And hockey is so easy to watch, so I think baseball needs to kind of find that. And Patrick, you're right. Don Orsillo and Jerry Remy actually make my ears bleed. So
I love Don Orsillo.
Oh no. Don is but Jerry Remy needs to go. I actually love Crazy Steve Lyons. I think he teaches me about baseball, and that's great.
Like, if you could find me a Scott Zolak to be in that booth, of the baseball version, I'm in.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, that's hard to do. It's hard to sustain that kind of energy.
Imagine sitting in a box with Jerry Remy for 3.5 hours.
I'd die. They talk about that when I had lunch that day. Like, baseball is the one sport where you're unique that you can teach your viewers something all the time. And maybe I'm an old timer, so that's kind of why. But I like the fact that you can show me a replay and tell me exactly why this happened or what they should have been doing there. Baseball's such a mental game that it's all about positioning and putting yourself in the best positions to make the plays you need to make. So tell me what that means. Tell me what it looks like when they're throwing a slider versus a changeup, or why they do that. Maybe I'm a total nerd, but that's what I want to hear.
No,
I don't hear it enough on our broadcast.
And they have the time, too.
Exactly.
They're stepping out of the box and all the bullshit. then you have time to show the replay of the pitch and say like he was squared up wrong, or whatever you want to say about it. So, okay, I think we're done.
Okay.
Because we got after it a little bit. So, everybody, you guys can just say your quick goodbyes. If you got anything to plug, you can do that. But I don't know if you do.
World Series.
Or bust.
Go Sox. Tonight or never. This year or never.
Yeah, exactly.
I just want it to start, man, because that means it's nice outside. I
Ugh.
need
Can't
it.
wait to go to
I need
Fenway
it.
Park.
I just want to, I just want to go to Fenway and have a beer and have a hot dog, and my days are better.
On a hot July Friday night.
Let's go.
That's what I'm saying.
We'll do a pod live from Fenway.
That's what
sometime.
we I was just thinking that, actually. We should do a podcast live from Fenway, from the Garden. That'd
Yeah,
be pretty.
Patrick.
you
Make
can
this
do it
thing-
from your phone.
Oh, can you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And Fenway has free Wi-Fi now.
There you go. So is the Garden.
Right. We know the media password.
It's usually just 20. It's usually it's like 14-15 season is usually what it is.
Yeah.
Because I mean, from media.
Bring your phone charger. All right, guys. Thanks for doing this with me and enlightening our viewers and especially me. And I hope you guys aren't too burned from those scolding hot takes I had. But I appreciate you guys coming on nonetheless. And yeah, so we'll do this again. This was fun. So for Greg Caswell, Corey LaValle, Emily Julian, my name is Patrick Julian, and this was Run the Jewels. We'll be back soon for some more sports talk, music talk. And I'll mix in some movie and TV with my co-hosts Jake Had and our other show. But thanks for sitting in with us for a cool hour and something. So, all right, guys. I'll see you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you, see.
All right, don't anybody. All right.